या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागृति संयमी, यस्याम या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जगर्ति संयमी, यस्याम जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुने. So these these deliberations that Krishna is giving now, this was because of a question of Arjuna, who wanted to know about the nature of an enlightened soul whose wisdom is steadfast. In very very simple language, it means that you know tell me about a person who is established in this wisdom, because Krishna had started his teachings with wisdom, with the wisdom of the self, with the knowledge of the self. So while he was speaking about the knowledge of the self, then he started to speak about karma yoga, which talks about how to how to attain that knowledge. So now that means people attain that knowledge, people attain that knowledge, and not only that, people are after attaining that knowledge, they also becomes established into that knowledge. And that means it's possible, it's possible to not only attain the knowledge but also to get established into the knowledge, so that whatever we do, we do in our life, we do it by being connected in the knowledge, or by being the knowledge. So Krishna, when Krishna was saying all this, then Arjuna asked, is it possible for a person to to become completely established into the knowledge? And if it is so, how is this person, who is this person, and how does he live, how does he live his life, how does he talk, how does he move around? So this is what he asked. And then Krishna, in these 18 verses, he talked about the nature of a realized soul whose wisdom is steadfast, that is, he is completely established into that knowledge. We have, in our earlier classes, we have discussed at length about this. So by principle, who is this person whose knowledge is completely steadfast? This person is one who can separate himself from the desires which the mind is creating, constantly. The mind creates desires constantly, but we get attached to the desires, thinking that this is true and this is part of my own existence. But a person who can separate himself from the desires, knowing that this is not my existence, this is just this is just ignorance, this is just delusion, that's all. And because of delusion, I think that this is my existence, and he does not get attached to the desires. He can stay separate, and and by staying separate, he connects with himself, he stays within himself, and in this way he can he can have this peace, this bliss. And this person who, by not by not following the desires, he is completely established into himself and is satisfied by this person is said to be a person who is steadfast in knowledge or wisdom. And then he also he also described how to how to go to this place, how to reach this place. So the last thing that he had said, we had all discussed this in the earlier discussions. So if you want, you can just go to our earlier videos, and you can see we have discussed at length. So the last verse that we had discussed was this: या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्याम जगर्ति संजमी, जस्याम जागृति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुने. The meaning of this verse is, the thing that is a night for a worldly person, a person for whom this world is a reality, a person for whom this world is the truth, and he thinks that only to enjoy this world, only to enjoy this body, the senses, is the only goal of life. That which is day for this person is night for an enlightened soul. That means these worldly persons, the values that they have, or the subjects that they value the most, the worldly persons, the subject that they value the most, for an enlightened soul, those subjects does not have any value. They consider them to be night. And and the one where they and where the worldly person sleeps, that is they consider to be night, that is the time, that is a place where the enlightened soul, they remains awake. That is the one which the worldly person does not value at all. That is the prime importance for an enlightened soul. What does an unenlightened soul value? The unenlightened soul values this world, this material wealth, material pleasure, physical pleasure, mental pleasure, emotional joy, emotional happiness, mental joy, physical happiness, and worldly, worldly happiness, worldly prosperity. These does not have any value for an enlightened soul, because the enlightened soul knows that this is just temporary, transitory. This is not going to stay. And because this is not going to stay, this is not reality at all. And because this is not reality, so they don't go and get indulged in this reality. But the one that is non-real for them, non-real for an unenlightened soul or the worldly person. What is non-real? This knowledge of the self. This knowledge of the self, to attain this knowledge, this knowledge of the reality, the knowledge which transcends the mind, the body, the senses, the world, that is what which does not carry any importance for an worldly person, but that is of prime importance for a enlightened soul. So this was where we had stopped in our last class. So we start from here. So now he says, what is the nature of an enlightened soul? He says, apuryamanam machalam pratishtham samudramapa pravishyanti yadvad tadvad kamayam pravishyanti sarve sa shanti mapnoti na kama kami. So this is a very beautiful example that he has given. He has described the nature of an enlightened soul by an example. What is that example? Apurya manam achalam pratishtam samudramapa pravishyanti yadvad. You might have seen that there's this ocean, and in this ocean there are different rivers which comes from different sides, and they come and get mixed into the ocean. So when these rivers they come and get mixed into the ocean, these waters that the rivers bring with them, they do not create any disturbance in the calmness of the ocean. The ocean is the way it is. The water level does not rise, or there is no disturbance at all. The ocean is always calm. So in the same way, in case of an enlightened soul whose wisdom is steadfast, who is into this wisdom, who is in the wisdom, who is always connected with the wisdom, or into the wisdom. So for this enlightened soul, what happens? If the desire comes from every direction, because the mind is the same, mind of an enlightened soul and mind of an unenlightened soul are the same. So in case of an unenlightened soul, as the desires comes from different sides, in the same way the desires also comes in case of an enlightened soul. But in case of an unenlightened person, what happens? When the desires comes, they become completely distracted. They become distracted, they become disturbed, they run after each and every desire. They become very, very impatient, anxious. They need that, they need everything at that moment. They become very impatient, they become very distracted. But when this desire comes in a enlightened soul, the enlightened soul remains the same. He remains peaceful, he remains calm. So this is, this is like he is like an ocean. Is like an ocean. Like in the ocean, as different rivers comes and gets mixed, the nature of the ocean does not change, the behavior of the ocean does not change, the calmness of the ocean does not change. In the same way, you know in the same way, maybe the desires from different sides, they come into the mind of an enlightened soul, but the enlightened soul always remains calm, quiet, happy, joyful. Okay, so this is what it says. Apuryamanam achalam pratishtam samudramapa pravishanti yadvad tadvad kamayam pravishanti sarve sa shanti mapnoti na kam kami. Then it says, Bihaya kaman sarvan pumangscharati nishpriha nirmamo nirahankara sashantim adhigachati. Now, he says, Bihaya kaman sarvan pumangscharati nishpriha. A Bhagavad Gita is everything about practice. Bihaya kaman sarvan. All this, let all these desires come. Let all these desires comes, but do not get attached to them. Stay away from them. Stay away from them. Renunciate these desires. You don't need to renunciate your life. You don't need to renunciate your dress, costume, or your house or anything. You need to renunciate the desires that you have. Okay, and this is a very internal process. It has nothing to do with the external world. Okay, so vihaya kaman sarvan, by being unattached, by separating yourself, by renouncing all these desires that you have. Okay, pumang sharati nishpriha, you just go into this world and just go and just hang out in this world without being attached to anything. Because if you do not have any desire within, you will not be attached to anything also. There is no way, there is no way that the world can attract you. The world attracts you because you have desires within. And that is why the world can attract you. So the world is not attracting you. Actually, the desires wants to get fulfilled through this world, and that is why you think that the world is attracting you. The world does not attract you at all. It is a matter. It is lifeless. How can it attract a conscious being? It cannot attract. It doesn't attract. You attract the world. You attract the world. You go and get connected with the world. And you do this only because you have these desires, unfulfilled desires, and you think that these desires are going to be fulfilled when I am into this world. These desires will never be fulfilled. Never. You will just end up being unhappy, angry, frustrated, and ultimately you are going to lose yourself. That's it. You will be a loser. So the only way by which you can, stay happy in this world is to sacrifice your desire within. Don't get attached to the desires. And then when you go into this world, you will see that there is nothing in this world which can attract you. There is nothing in this world which can bind you. Which can bind you, which can pull you towards itself, which can attract you. And that is the real happiness. You have not experienced that happiness. You need to experience that happiness. This happiness of being free. When you go into this when you go to this world, and when you are completely free, when you feel this freedom, you can go everywhere. You see things, but you see that you are not at all attached to anything. Nothing is attracting you. You can appreciate everything, but that's it. You don't want to acquire them, you don't want to attain them, and that is the real happiness. Vihaya kaman sarvan pumang sharati nishpriha. You need to separate yourself from the desires, and then just go to this world, and you know and move around, dwell in this world by being unattached. Nirmamo. Then it says nirmamo nir ahankara sashantim adhigachati. Nirmamo means mama means me and mine. Everywhere we have this, this is mine, this is mine, this is his, this is mine, this is me and mine. This me and mine is the cause of bondage. This is my thing, this is my book, this is my my bed, this is my car, this is my house. Everything is mine, nothing is yours. These are all objects. These are all objects which belong to somebody else before some time, and after some time it will belong to somebody else. Don't impose yourself in this, thinking that this is yours. These are never yours. This cannot be yours at all. Okay? So never get attached to them. Nirmamo. Don't think that anything in this world belongs to you. Nothing belongs to you. The only thing that belongs to you is you yourself. That is the only thing that belongs to you, A thirsty man quenches his thirst. Is it desire? No, this thirst itself is desire. And this quenching his thirst is the action that he does to fulfill his desires. But the desires never gets fulfilled. The desires, changes form. The desires changes form. I have a desire to have one ice cream. I go to the ice cream parlor, I see all these ice creams, and then I end up going to the ice cream parlor every day. So, I had a desire to have ice cream for one day, but then I end up going to the ice cream parlor every day. So my desires did not end. They just multiplied. They became many faceted. So this is how everything happens. I need one car. The moment I have this one car, then I see another car which is better than that car, and I need that one now. I need a house. When I need a house, I have this house, but while I am having this house, I see another bigger house, better house, and then I move, I want that one. So these desires are never fulfilled. They are an unending process. They are an unending process, and that is why it is not fulfilled. And that is why when you go to the master says that if you really want to have desire to realize yourself. Because when you realize yourself in this process, all the desires that you have, all these major desires, there are certain desires that we have which are our major desires, which shape our life, and if they are not completed, we think our life is unfulfilled. So it's very important that those desires gets completed, because if they don't get completed, then we lose interest of our life. So if we move for any one of these desires that we have, prominent desires that we have, we will see that all our life we have been running to attain that desire, but not even one desire gets fulfilled. So when you concentrate in knowing yourself by the teachings of your master, when you go to your master says, the only thing that you need to know is who you are. So when you concentrate there, when you increase this, the master also